Hey Doodlers, this is Adam Sasinski and welcome to day 21 of the 40-day How to Doodle course. Now within this lesson we're going to talk about something that is a little bit awkward to doodle, at least for me, and I know from personal experience from speaking to a lot of people that hands, specifically hands, feet, they're okay. I mean, feet are okay, but hands are particularly difficult to doodle, and that's what I want to spend time doodling here, is specifically hands. Okay, we'll leave the feet. I've got some examples of feet below, but let's focus on the hands. Now, doodling hands doesn't need to be obviously difficult. If you go back to the doodles that I created with stick figures, I only drew little circles on hands like that, or ovals. If you want to doodle a thumb, just doodle a thumb on top. If you want to go a little bit more advanced, you can do something along those lines, and that still looks like a hand. We don't need to complicate our doodles with details, right? But if you want to learn a little bit more and spend a little bit more time to create specific hands and challenge yourself, I guess, then you can try adding more detail. For instance, we go thumbs up like this, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and then we have a hand with a thumbs up. Okay, thumb looks a little bit awkward. It does not matter. It's all good. From that perspective, that thumb will be kind of like that. There you go, thumbs up. There are some thumbs up for you. How about a finger pointing? You can kind of start off like that, like this, and then 1, 2, 3, and kind of go like this here, and there's your hand pointing. Again, not ideal, not perfect, it doesn't matter. It gets the idea across, and that's what it is. It gets the idea across that we are creating something that indicates that this hand is pointing at this star, for instance. Okay, and that's what the message that you're trying to send through your doodles. How about another one? I mean, we can have, for instance, let's say holding something, a hand holding something there. Always not easy to doodle, so let's go 3 little loops like that for the hand. We can have that sort of sticking out along those lines. We have a thumb sort of sticking out there, and the hand kind of going down like this. There's another finger. I'll do that one again. Another finger up here, and like this. Okay, there you go. There's a hand holding what looks like a big Mars bar. There you go, a big Mars bar. Nice. Okay, so I mean, this is the way it is. I mean, normally I would probably stick to, if you're in a rush, you would want to maybe just circles, bit of a thumb, if you want to go with a thumb. You could go more advanced, like I said, with just the fingers like that for the purposes of doing this, and then you've got another one like this. I mean, that's it. That gives the indication that it's a hand, and you really don't need to overcomplicate it too much. But let's go one more example of something that you can doodle that's pretty cool to doodle, because I think a handshake is very cool to represent a lot of different things. Like within your doodles, a lot of different words can kind of be represented within a handshake. So if we want to doodle a handshake, we could go like this, that, out, 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 and there we go. There's your handshake. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But then again, you could also do this. Two people shaking hands. Another person here shaking hands. Easy. That represents a handshake as well. So again, we don't need to complicate things too much. I think we just need to look at keeping things as simple as possible, especially if time is limited and we're doing something that requires a bit of time, and that requires us to be, not a bit of time, but that requires us to give a little bit of a quick effort and get things out as quickly as possible. But obviously you can doodle these, handshakes and everything along those lines quite quickly if you practice. They don't need to be perfect like that. Again, okay, probably one more there. Okay, again, see, you get that handshake, you can practice it, you can doodle it within 5 seconds potentially. So you don't need to go complicated, but you can if you have the time. And that's pretty much it for this lesson. Now with the okay, let's just tackle just feet quickly. Feet, I would say with the shoes, nice, easy with the shoes. You want to do shoelaces, perfect. Okay, you could go more advanced shoes. Okay, like this. Okay, still same thing. Put the socks there, whatever it is. If you want to go for feet, you want to go for feet. Oops, not like that. Kind of go through here. You want to stick a big toe out, and then you want to put the little toes like this, and then you feet are kind of curved that way. So there are your feet, and we put some hairs here. There you go. So there's your character with feet. Again, practice. I've got quite a few examples for you below, and other doodlers have also submitted some really cool examples of how to doodle all these sorts of things and handshakes and everything like that. So should have a lot of ideas actually to doodle all sorts of things. I think when it comes to these sorts of things, it's kind of proportions. Like I was looking at how I doodled this here, and this line's probably a little bit out of proportion there. If we kind of move it here, it looks more like balanced in that. So again, see, that's my perfectionist coming into the picture, and I'm trying to stay away from being so perfect, because things take a lot of time. And if you've seen some of my maps at iqmatrix.com, you'll see that a lot of effort goes into those maps, and a lot of time is spent creating those maps. So I try to avoid that as much as possible, especially when I'm doodling stuff like this. But yeah, I always come back to that when I'm by myself. I can't help myself but to spend more time doodling them, trying to perfect things as much as possible. But hey, it's okay to try to perfect things initially and try to get a hang of them. But down the track, yeah, it's up to you how much detail you decide to put into things. So I hope to see your submission for today's lesson. If you feel comfortable, send it through to info@iqdoodle.com. And as always, I look forward to having you join me on the next lesson. I'll see you tomorrow.